All right, good morning. Let's kick off. Let's get going. Before we do that, let me. Um, so yeah, let's do a pop quiz first. It's been long since I went back. Uh, to a whole lot of things that we've covered to ensure that to check to see that you guys are following, and you guys are not just coming to the session and not just dumping what we have covered. Um, so we're gonna do a pop quiz. It's gonna be a pop quiz first before we take on anything, right? It's been long since we had a pop quiz. So you guys already know the rules of pop quiz, right? Um, pop quiz. So that's what we're gonna do first. So all right, we're live. Let's get going here. So let me start with you, Bernice. Good morning. Would you be kind enough to tell us about what you know about SDLC? And you can unmute yourself. Everybody should be able to unmute yourself. It's pop quiz time. So unmute yourself. Let's get going. All right, Bernice, let's get going. SDLC, let's go.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So, LDLC is a software development lifecycle, you know, and it is the stages or the method that a product life cycle goes through. The stages that the product goes through from start to finish. And it is a it is a stage under the waterfall, methodology, and it is a
All right, who's
sequential.
gonna bail her out? Who's gonna bail her out?
Did we not say it right? It is the software development life cycle. It is the stages that a software goes through from the start to the finish of the product.
But what are the stages? That's what we want to hear. That's what we want to know.
Oh, okay. So there are a couple of stages that I can go through. So the first stage is the requirement gathering stage. This is where, as a BA or a product owner, you are able to elicit information from the stakeholder. This is where you listen, ask questions from the stakeholder, and be able to really get a picture of the need of the stakeholder to communicate to your technical team. And we also have the second stage, which is the build or development stage. Um, no, the design stage comes before the build and the development stage. The
Okay.
design stage is where you actually is the architectural stage where you design the product that you are about to build based on the requirement that you have gathered from the stakeholder. So you are able to put it in design and present this design to the next stage, which is the building, where you present it for building and development to the developers to kind of look at the design and give you exactly what the stakeholder is looking for. Okay, design it and build it for the stakeholder. And the next stage will be the testing stage after the developers have built it and builds the design that you have given them, then it has to be tested to make sure that, okay, this is the design that we were supposed to build. This is what the stakeholder wanted us to build. Have we achieved that? Has everything they built meet and exceeded expectation? So that is what the testing do. They test for bugs, they test for errors, and make sure that everything is exactly as the stakeholder wanted. And then the next stage will be the deployment and the release stage. If it is tested and everything looks good, everything meets requirement, everything meets expectation, then the next stage is the deployment stage, the deployment or the release stage, where we release the product to the external, well, the internal users first, and then the external users. And then the final stage is the maintenance stage. This is where, after we have released the product, we go back in there occasionally just to maintain the product, make sure that the product is still serving the purpose for which it's supposed to serve. So these are the stages of an SDLC.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. Eben, let me come to you. We have requirement, quality properties. We have some quality, properties like atomic, unique, identify, complete. Can you explain these terms? Atomic,
Okay.
uniquely identify, and then complete.
Okay. So atomic, uniquely identified, and then complete. Starting with the property complete. This where the particular story that we picked up, we need to make sure that we've covered it in entirety, whether it's the solution that we've developed meets exactly what the stakeholder wants us to come up with for him. And then each story should stand individually as its own. We cannot combine two or more requirements into a story. Each one has to be on its own. And then for the atomic, the example that I remember has to do with it being, for instance, when you have students can enroll to undergraduate program or postgraduate, that means you are combining two different things. Over here, it should be individual. That means you should have one requirement for undergraduates and then one just for postgraduates, so that you don't have two stories in one.
Okay. All right. Jeffrey, let me come to you. We have bug or defect life cycle. Would you be kind enough to explain to us, the stages or the phases of the bug defect life cycle?
Okay. So bug defect life cycle. The other stages, the bug goes through, then it's being rectified, from what I understand, and then so it starts from testing, or wait. So it starts from when the bug in question is identified, then it's assigned, then it's put there for it to be worked on, then it's fixed, then it's retested, then it's verified, and it's closed. That's how I understand it.
No, it's not like what you understood it. We went through a different life cycle, right? So there's a standard steps or standard phase where when the bag gets open, we'll have to go through that cycle before it comes to an end, right? So that is what
Okay. So when is opened, the situation is duplicated, then tested again, then deferred, then it's decided whether it's still a bug or it's something that came up as an unintended something. Don't know if I'm making sense.
Okay, let's move on. Kofi, what is the difference between Epic and a user story? Epic versus a user story.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, okay, it's working now. Yeah, so an epic is a large body of a story, and when it's being broken down, then it becomes the story. So out of the epic, we can get the story. So the story is epics being broken down into single elements.
Did we lose you?
Yeah, no, I'm here. I hope you can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, yes. So the epic is a large body of stories.
Mhm.
The epic is basically made up of the stories, and then out of the epic we can get the story. So when the large body of stories are being broken down, each story becomes a story. The story, yeah, like each element or each item of the epic becomes the story. So in simple terms, the epic becomes the broader umbrella. Beneath it, we can get the stories.
Okay. Well, James, what is a defect?
So with defects in it's defined as an error or a flaw in a computer program. Hello?
Okay.
Yeah, it's defined as an error or a flaw in a computer program.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let me start with you. Okay. Let me come to you, Reagan. Are you there to answer questions? Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So Reagan, what is your understanding of the Agile methodology?
Yeah, Agile methodology is known to be like stages to which software is being developed, or stages to which software is being developed from one stage. And in an agile environment, you can develop and probably go back again to make rectifications or do corrections back and forth with developers and maybe testers and the BAs. So it's just back and forth flow of developing a software. We don't wait till maybe at the end of a whole tunnel before one can make corrections, or as comparative to the yeah,
I'm needing somebody to bill you. Bernice, can you bill Reagan?
yeah.
The Agile methodology is a practice that promotes a continuous iteration of developing and testing throughout the software development life cycle. It is a methodology that provides early feedback. That is when they are working on it and something goes wrong, they are able to communicate it and get it solved. And also, we don't build everything at a go. It is an iteration. It is a continuous process. So we can build one feature, complete it, show it to the stakeholder for them to approve, whether they like it or not, get their feedback and use the feedback to make changes or just continue to the next thing. And it also provide early, release of feature, which I just touched on. And also what is able to be broken down, and um, it is also the simplest and the most flexible methodology that you can work with.
Okay. Let me ask you your substantive question as well. What makes up a very good user story?
Okay, so what makes up a very good user story are 5 things, but 4 things are really important. The goal, the role, the benefit, and then the acceptance criteria are the 4 important. And I wouldn't say optional, but optional-ish is the additional information. So a good user story must have a role, it must have a goal, it must have a benefit, it must have an acceptance criteria, and it must have an additional information.
Okay. So typically, how would you write a story? So that's what I want to be able to hear. Also.
So for a role as a user, or as a whoever you are building it for.
Persona.
I mean the persona. Thank you. As the persona,
Mhm.
that is the role and the goal. It's a persona. I want to be able to do something, okay? And then the benefit, so that something, okay? And then you come to the acceptance criteria. This is where the real deal happens. This is where you are able to break down the story and write down the line by line items and descriptive,
Okay.
explanation of exactly what um, you want to build. This is where you put together the role, the goal, and the benefit. So as a user, I want to do this so that, and this is where you put everything together.
Okay, Eben, what is an acceptance criteria? And also, we always describe an acceptance criteria with this SMART acronym. Would you be able to tell us what a SMART acronym means? But first, what is acceptance criteria?
Okay, so I would say acceptance criteria refers to the conditions that a software product must satisfy to be accepted by the user. So over here, we are looking at the features, the functionalities of the application we are developing or the solution we are developing. And then the SMART acronym simply means it must be specific, must be measurable, must be achievable, relevant, and then time bound. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right. Let me come to you, Kofi. Let me come to you on this one. Can you give us examples of some non-functional requirements?
Non-functional requirements. Okay, so an example of a non-functional requirement would
Okay, let me be very, very specific. Give me 3 non-functional, yes, examples of non-functional requirements.
Okay, so it would be one would be the number of seconds or minutes or time that it would take to arrive at or to complete a particular process as far as a story is concerned, or as far as a story is concerned. So the time attached to it could be one. Another one would be also how the items are being arranged on the page or on the screen, on a website or on the app. It's not functional, but how captivating have they been arranged on the screen helps the user. Number 3, the color combination as well. Yes.
Are you positive about your answer about the color scheme? Is it a non-functional thing? Are you positive about that answer?
I'm not so certain for that. I'm not so certain, but I know that a particular color being used, like it would differ. For instance, if we are working on say the food industry, certain colors becomes more attractive. So colors like red or orange becomes more attractive. So if you are working, or if we are on a project for
it is not a non-functional requirement stuff, but who's going to build Kofi out for non-functional requirements and examples of non-functional things that we can consider? Who's going to build Kofi out?
So non-functional requirements talks about the performance of the product or the software.
Mm-hmm.
And you can think of a load. How long does it take a software to load from one page to the other? You can think of scalability, portability, security, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we mentioned a couple of things: maintainability, scalability, security, performance, all those things. Right. Okay. All right. Let me come to you. So Jeffrey, let me come to you on this one. Who are stakeholders?
So stakeholders are it can be said as the people that brought you the job, and then they have the keen interest in the.
No, hold on. So it can be said as the people that brought you the job.
It can. Then they are the ones that have the know-how of how the business or the application or the product is supposed to turn out, and they are the ones you consult for more clarification. And they are the same ones you elicit for the requirements from.
Okay. Let me ask you a follow-up question on that. In eliciting requirement, there are different techniques. Can you just mention just one? Just one. I just need one.
Questionnaires.
Okay, and what happened with questionnaire?
So you decide on how. Let's say there are various paths products can take, and to ascertain how they are thinking and what exactly they want, you can ask them a variety of questions so that you can draw inference from that to be able to develop what they want.
Okay, Reagan, in elicitation requirements, we use different techniques. Can you also mention one, Reagan? And explain.
Yeah. Different techniques in eliciting requirement.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's a conference. It's conference meeting part of it. Not quite sure with it, but I know maybe the meetings, right?
Bernice, can you build Reagan?
Yeah, sure. So surveys.
Okay. James, can you also mention one?
Workshop.
Okay. And Eben, can you mention the last one, maybe?
Reverse engineering.
Reverse engineering. Okay. All right. Good. All right. Let me come to you. Okay. So let me come to you, James, on quality assurance. Let's talk about software testing a little bit. There are two types of software testing. What are they? What are these? Two types of testings.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you.
Can you kind of give me the question, please?
There
I was
are two types of software testing.
functional and non-functional testing. Sorry.
No. Who can bail James out?
Manual and automated testing.
Manual and automated testing. That's what I want to hear. Okay.
Okay.
What is usually the problem? This I'm going to make it open. I'm not going to call names from this point on. I just want to know people that are ready for for this. What is the problem with Waterfall? So this one is open. I'm not going to call names. If you think you have the answer, you know why Waterfall methodology is problematic. You can go ahead. It just tell me that your readiness and your you really got this.
Hello.
I think
So
Waterfall is more structured compared to the Agile. With Waterfall, it's like you're working from top to bottom. It doesn't give much room to kind of, I would say, express yourself, in the sense that you're supposed to follow certain, is built step by step, and the possibility to kind of ship out the product is prolonged over a long period. Is prolonged because you would have to work and follow the laid down procedure, unlike Agile, where it's broken down into various segments and then shipped out as and when it's ready.
Okay, anybody else too have a different opinion?
And with Waterfall, there's a high tendency of the end product being what the customer doesn't want, since feedback is not done in an incremental format where feedback is taken regularly. It's built from top to bottom, then taken out for testing, and by then resources would have been spent, and sometimes the product would have to be redone, incurring more cost.
Okay, any more opinion, any last
Yes. Waterfall too can also be time consuming as compared to Agile. With Agile, the moment the minimum viable product is being built, is being released and it's live, and the users can make use of it. But then Waterfall, if it's supposed to take a period of 1 year or 2 years, until then the product isn't released, so it could be time consuming.
Okay, that's good. Bernice, last one.
Yeah, I was going to talk about time, but I will divert to, it's hard to make changes to anything, okay? Because it goes through this formal or sequential documentation process. You can really make changes, okay, to anything
Okay.
during the process.
On that note of change, let me ask a question on why is change management important? This is also open, everybody. Why is change management important?
It prevents on. It prevents unauthorized access to like it prevents people from, and not anybody can just wake up and say, oh, I feel like I want to change this thing, so let me just go ahead and change it. It has to go through a process.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so unauthorized change, it prevents unauthorized, change to assault. Okay, all right. Anybody else? Why is change management important?
I would also say it helps reduce errors. And there is error reduction in the sense that you first have to check to see, do we really require a change? And then you have it goes through a process where you have your change request and the assessment of the request. So that means they have laid down procedures to get us to the final stage where we implement the change. Okay, so it will just prevent the situation where we'll go through the whole process only to realize that we've made an error and we need to go back to what we were using previously.
Okay, we have 5 steps in change management. What are these 5 steps? Anybody?
Change request identification. Then we proceed to change request assessment. Then we move on to where we have the change analysis. Then we approve the change request, and then we implement the change request.
Now, do you guys agree? Anybody else?
Yeah, I think we agree. Like, you have to identify and then do an assessment, an analysis, approve. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Not too long ago, we started talking about some data and databases. So what is the difference between database and data? What's the difference?
Data refers to characteristics or information that is usually numeric and are collected or collated through observation. And then a database is a collection of that characteristics or information into a manageable and accessible, shall I say, and it's structured also. Yeah.
Anybody else?
So you can say that data is housed in a database. So data are the collection of items we find in our databases.
Also, data can be qualitative or quantitative variables, and database is basically where these variables are stored. Basically.
Okay. What are the common business analysis techniques? We talk about this at the very early stages of our sessions. Note that I'm not talking about elicitation techniques. I'm talking about business analysis techniques.
We have a SWOT analysis, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and
okay.
Then we have
PESTEL.
Yes.
That deals with the political, economic, sociological, technological, L legal, and then E environmental.
Okay.
And we have the SWOT that deals with the strength, the weakness, the
somebody just said it right now.
Oh, okay. Well, we have the most that deals with the missions, the objectives, the strategy of how you are going to build the product.
Okay. What else? What are that?
We have the must call.
Mm-hmm.
We have it's a must or should, could or would.
Okay.
We also have the cat word.
Mm-hmm.
Customers, actors, transformation process, the world view, owner, and the environment.
Okay. We have 2 more left.
We have the 5 whys.
Okay. And then the last one.
Pestle.
6 thinking hats.
Now, Pestle has already said we've already talked about Pestle. So there's one. Okay, the 6 thinking hats. Okay.
6 thinking hats. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Has the most been said as well? Mission, objective, strategies.
Yes.
Most.
Okay. Okay.
Is the 6 thinking hats part of it?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be the last one.
And then the steps involved in business analysis process. What are the 6 steps? We have 6 steps involved in business analysis process. What are these steps?
Enterprise analysis.
Enterprise analysis 1. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 more.
Requirement planning and management.
Okay.
Requirement elicitation.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. What is enterprise analysis? What does it mean? You need to just, you will not just say it, but I will need to get some clarification on that. What are we talking about here? So let's start with enterprise analysis first. Okay.
It's such and pre-project activities that the project goes through, so that the BA is guided by these sort of activities.
Okay, all right. Next one.
Planning and management. This defines the tasks and resources which are associated with the planning changes of the product. And it just captures the correct and the consistent need that we have to know when building the product.
Okay, all right.
Requirement elicitation, researching and discovering the requirements of the system from the users, customers, and their stakeholders.
Okay.
Requirement analysis and documentation. This is where you analyze structure, you specify the design, you define your methods or tools to structure the raw data you've gathered so far.
Okay.
Solution evaluation and validation. Sorry, go ahead.
Before the solution evaluation and validation, we would have the requirement communication. That's where you have a collection of activities for expressing the output of the analysis we've conducted already.
And the last one.
Last one is
solution evaluation and validation.
Mm-hmm.
So this phase helps you to meet the stakeholders' requirements or demands.
Okay, good. Good. You guys have done well. We have some 15 minutes. Let me see if I can capture decision. Let's see here. I think decision table. Okay. Or maybe we should just use today to just finish up with all this. Okay. And then also let me ask this last one in this series, and I think we'll be in good hands. I'll be DDL. What does DDL means?
Data definition language.
Okay. What do we use DDL for?
It is used to define database structure.
Okay.
Or structure in database and also and schema.
Schema. Okay. All right. Examples of DDL.
Add,
Great.
remove, modify tables.
Alter.
Okay, alter. Okay,
Drop.
Create.
create,
Let's drop.
drop. Okay,
Truncate.
truncate.
Comment.
Okay,
And then rename an object.
new rename. Okay, and then DML.
Data manipulation language.
Data manipulation.
Okay, what is it?
For
It's
managing
used to
of
manage data
within the schema.
within the schema.
Okay, for management. All right, examples.
Select,
Mm-hmm.
insert,
Insert, update, delete.
Update.
delete, merge abstract, call,
Explain and lock
Okay.
table.
DCL.
data control language.
Okay.
It's just to grant access and revoke access.
Okay. And when I was talking about this, I gave a very good example. Who can, talk about this? Why we need to grant access, and why sometimes it's necessary to revoke access. Who can give me an example, a practical example of why revoking is important and other things like that?
If I recall, you made mention of the fact that, can you imagine if there's an organization and every employee has access to their salary, then they can now just go out there and manipulate and put up any sort of number or figure out there. So that's why you need to give access to people that are authorized.
Okay.
And also, you didn't say this, but I think this is something that will be also an important reason why people are given access. Let's say they have gathered all these data for years, and somebody just go in there, click something, and delete everything.
Right.
Yeah. So that will be a good reason not to give access for delete of items or of data for everybody. Only the authorized people who knows what they want to delete, who knows what it is about, to just go in there and delete what's supposed to be deleted, as to somebody just going in there and wiping everything away.
Yeah, basically people
ensure data integrity.
Okay, basically people who know what they're doing, right? We don't want people to just have access to everything and then start updating and deleting and deactivating and doing all sorts of things that they don't know what they're doing in the first place. Okay, good. All right. TCL. So
Transaction control.
Okay.
Yeah, like in the organization.
TCL, I talk about a couple of things. So commit. When do we use commit? Somebody should say that one. And then when do we use rollback? Somebody also have to give me that. And then when do we use save point? Somebody also give me that. And then set transaction. So let's go.
Commit is when you want to save the work that you've done. That's when you commit.
Okay.
And then rollback is to restore the database to the original since the last commit. Yes. Yeah.
Save point is where you identify a point in a transaction to which you can roll back.
Okay. What are the types of database? I think it's enough. It's a lot. So everybody should be able to say something. The types.
We have the graph database.
The graph, okay.
Relational database.
Okay.
We have
operational database.
NoSQL.
NoSQL, okay.
Cloud database.
Centralization database.
Okay.
Object-oriented.
Object-oriented, okay.
The hierarchical one.
Document database.
Okay.
Network database.
Okay. Lastly, everybody is gonna give me one reason why why the role of a business analyst is important. The role of the product owner is important. Everybody, I'm gonna go around the table. All right. So I'm gonna start with you, Kofi. Why do you think that every organization needs a business analyst or a product owner?
Okay, so all right, so the BA will help with the
You have 15 seconds, by the way, because we need
right,
to hurry up.
so the legal aspect of the project, the business analysis will, so like for instance, the personal analysis angle to look at the project from that angle. So the legal requirement.
Eben.
Yeah.
The BA analysis is important to help improve existing processes in the organization.
Good. Reagan.
Yeah, the BA also help facilitate the activities between the stakeholders and that of the business.
Okay. Jeffrey.
To help streamline the actions of the product, to help streamline the product.
Okay. James.
They help in gathering requirements from the stakeholder.
Okay. Lastly, Bernice. Okay.
Okay, so and also they also work with leadership and other stakeholders to determine product design and roadmap, for the product, and they also communicate the journey, performance, updates, plans, and success of the product that we are building to the leaders and then other teams.
All right. All right. Good morning, guys, and we will continue tomorrow morning.